The city did a Clarita study some 10 years ago and found that just within city limits, 16% of the population within city limits, total household income is less than $29,999.
Wow.
We know you cannot raise a family with that
Right.
salary.
And we don't typically think of this community having, that volume, that amount of people who are living at that level. And so-
Right. That is true. And I think that, for me, my heart goes out to two demographics in particular that pull at my heartstrings, and those are the children and our senior citizens. They're both innocent victims of their circumstances. So I remember when my boys were young, they'd go to the refrigerator and open the door and say, "Oh, Mom, we don't have anything to eat." But we did. We had plenty.
Right.
It just wasn't what they wanted at that time. There are children here in Santa Clarita that they don't have a refrigerator to go to, or if they do and they open it, no, they don't have things to eat. So I think that the idea of children going hungry in a fluent community or in a nation like the United States it's just unthinkable.
We're in studio right now with Belinda Crawford. She is our Unsung Hero, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Valencia, talking about her work with the SCV Food Pantry. When was it established, Belinda? What are the, just kind of give me a thumbnail sketch. How many people do you guys serve, and what are the criteria for clients, those kinds of things?
We were formed in 1986, so we've been in the Santa Clarita Valley for about 27 years. We serve the low-income families, low-income individuals, families, senior citizens, homeless population. Our guidelines are very simple. Number one, you must live in Santa Clarita. We were founded basically neighbors helping neighbors. So you must live in Santa Clarita and be able to show us some proof of address. And then it's income guidelines. It's about 150% of poverty level. So a family of four, about $32,000 a month.
Yeah.
Now, that's to become a regular client. But there are times when people have fires in their homes or one thing or another. And so we always, if someone comes in to apply for us, if they don't qualify based on the financial or based on not having the correct paperwork, some kind of proof of address here in Santa Clarita, well, they'll go home with an emergency bag.
Right.
We're not the food police, and we would rather err on the side of caution.
Sure.
So we don't want anyone to go hungry.
That's right. You mentioned having a special place in your heart for kids and for seniors and making sure that they are taken care of. And I know the food pantry has special programs for them.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Well, we've got two programs I'm very proud of. Both of them were about 6 years old, and we have been recognized from the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, which is an agency of Feeding America, and received an award for these programs and for the fact that we listen to our clients and we design our programs based on our client needs, not some structure of another food pantry. Two things. Number one, about 6 years ago, we started hearing a lot of news about children not having enough calcium, vitamin D in their diets, and how this is going to affect them not only now, but as they're adults. We're going to be looking at a complete population of severe osteoporosis. So we started, and we're the only food pantry, according to Feeding America, in the United States that has a designated program like this.
Wow.
We started what we call the Milk Money program, and we actually purchase fresh milk for the children of our clients, and each child gets a gallon of milk a month.
Wow, that's huge. And obviously, yeah, we of course need to make sure that that's particular demographic taken care of. I wanted to ask you, as we've seen kind of the recovery from the recession start to maybe kick in, maybe not. It depends on who you ask. Have you guys seen any change to the demographics or the volume of people that you've had come in since before the recession, or maybe at the bottom of the recession? Has that changed over time, or?
It has. It peaked in 2009.
Okay.
And we're seeing our the clientele change somewhat. We're having more and more clients that were on unemployment, and now their unemployment has totally run out.
Right.
And they come into the pantry and say, "I never thought I would be in this position. I used to donate to you guys." So we would hope that people wouldn't wait till they're that desperate. We're here to help them now.
I want to talk about volunteers as well. How much support do you get from the community? How can people help and donate their time and donate food to the pantry? What do you need? What do you recommend?
Well, we do food drives. A lot of schools, churches, and other organizations do food drives for us on a regular basis. And of course, the in-kind food donations, that's what we need to put in those bags. Last year, we distributed over 1 million pounds of food.
Wow.
And that equals about 1.3 million meals. So just here in Santa Clarita, it's amazing. The food pantry has grown dramatically, almost 5.5-fold since I came 10 years ago.
Wow.
And we're looking at a slight decrease in the past year or so of the number of clients, but then it's a different clientele. A lot of the new clients are different. Either maybe husband has lost his job. Over a period of struggling for months, he's now left the family. So mom's there trying to support kids, house in foreclosure, and doesn't know what to do. And then we're seeing a lot of our senior citizens where they could stretch the money a little bit better a few years ago. They can't now. At the end of the month, they need to buy either food or medication. They have to make that choice, and no one should have to make that choice. So we started another program for senior citizens, realizing that transportation is a major issue for seniors. They may not be homebound in their apartment, but they're community bound, homebound in their community. So we go to 7 different locations throughout the Santa Clarita Valley once a month and distribute food basically for senior citizens. But in some of these apartment complexes, we're looking at adults with disabilities as well.
Very good. The SCV Food Pantry has a website, scvfoodpantry.org. You can find out their location. You can also find out, and this is huge, you can find out what the most urgent needs are for food or for non-food items right on the website. Right now they have a need for tuna, for food items, and for diapers as well, for sizes 4 and 5. I just looking at that right now. scvfoodpantry.org. They're on Railroad Avenue. Regular hours Monday through Thursday, and also open on the first Saturday as well. We have not even talked about you yet, Belinda. Can you hang out for a little bit?
Sure.
Let me do a
Sure.
quick traffic update to take a break
Sure.
and come back. So want to find out more about the executive director for the SCV Food Pantry, Belinda Crawford. She is our SCV Unsung Hero, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Valencia. We'll come back and talk more with Belinda in just a moment.
AM 1220, KHTS.
3:52 on your hometown station. We're back with our KHTS Unsung Hero feature. This time we're talking with Belinda Crawford. She is the executive director for the SCV Food Pantry. Belinda, thanks once again for hanging out.
Oh, thank you.
And we appreciate you doing it, and congratulations on the recognition. We were talking about the food pantry. Obviously, that's in your blood now. That's where your focus is. But we also want to find out more about you. We were just talking in the break as we continue to watch just the devastation outside of Oklahoma City. We'll have another update on that in about 10 minutes with NBC News. But you're not a local. You came out of the area from back east. Talk to me about your background. Where'd you come from?
Well, I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. And then after high school, went to work at a local radio station, where you know how radio gets in your blood.
Right.
Married a disc jockey. We moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and he programmed a progressive rock station in Nashville, Tennessee.
Was that WLAC?
No,
Oh.
WLAC
That was
actually
you.
was adult contemporary.
Oh, okay.
WKDF was
Okay, got
the
it.
progressive rock.
Right.
And both of our sons were born in Nashville,
Yeah.
so they still consider Nashville their home, although they've lived here in Santa Clarita for more years than Nashville.
Sure.
We lived in Nashville, Tennessee 3 or 4 separate times during our married life, but we love Santa Clarita.
Well, what prompted you to come out here?
My husband was in broadcasting, and he got a job offer position at Unistar Radio Network.
Wow.
He actually worked with Jerry
Yeah.
Cerati.
They go way back.
They
and,
do.
Yeah,
They do.
Unistar turned into Westwood One, which turned into Dial Global.
Yeah.
And now they're picking up and they're going to Denver now apparently.
That's
out
what I
here. So,
understand.
yeah. So.
He was there for some years, and then went to work at Associated Press.
Oh, very good.
So Associated Press, when the economy got kind of bad, decided to basically move management to Washington, D.C., and to just have little satellite locations
Yeah.
at different cities throughout the United States. So it was, one of those choices. We decided, do we want to go to Washington, D.C.? Do we want to live in Santa Clarita? There wasn't a choice. So we stayed here.
All right.
And at that time I was at the food pantry, and I loved it. It truly is a passion. Some COC students did a project not too long ago, and actually did the video that's on our website.
Oh, cool.
And they asked me, they said, well, Mrs. Crawford, is the food pantry, is it a vocation or is it a hobby? And it's neither.
Yeah.
It's
It's more than
is
both, right?
Yeah, it really is.
So how did your time at the food pantry come about? How did you get involved, and how did you end up in the executive director position?
Well, actually, a friend of mine from church volunteered there for years. And she mentioned to me that they were looking for an ED. And I have been so fortunate in my career that I only applied and only interviewed for a few jobs in my career. Most of them have been word of mouth. I knew someone who offered me a position. Jerry offered me a position at KVET years ago. So it was, I thought, well, if nothing else, you know what, I need to get some interviewing skills.
Right.
And I went and interviewed with 3 of the board members, and they were so passionate. I went home and got on the internet and started looking at food banks, food pantries, exactly what they do. When we go on vacation, we check out the local food pantry. You never know. You can get an idea from a teeny little, probably 30 square foot food pantry in New Albany, Indiana.
Of course, yeah, and then you'll be able to institute that into your own work.
Right.
What's coming up for the food pantry? What's on the books? What's coming up? What's ahead?
Well, we have our Run Against Hunger, which is our only true fundraiser of the year. And it is in October. It's always the last Sunday in October. But we're doing something new and kind of exciting this year. We hope that it will be an annual event. We plan for it to be. So this is the inaugural event called Christmas in July.
Oh.
And we just got a call today that Santa wants to come.
Oh, great.
So it's basically going to be a Christmas in July boutique and food drive. The city will have their summer food drive during July and August this year. And our Christmas in July boutique and food drive will be at the American Legion Hall. They're partnering with us, allowing to use their facility, and it's going to be July the 20th.
Very good. We encourage you to check that out. Also, the food pantry itself, scvfoodpantry.org. Find out how you can donate your time, donate your goods, and help other people here in the Santa Clarita Valley. Belinda, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for doing it. It's Belinda Crawford, the executive director of the SCV Food Pantry. She is the Mercedes-Benz of Valencia unsung hero. We'll have a full write-up on this, and you can watch the video. You can listen to the interview if you missed any part of it on our website later on this week at hometownstation.com. Belinda, thank you once again.
Thank you, Jason.